they're trying to get feedback. They've got no rubber, and honestly, do I like that they're scratching around on old tyres? No, I don't.
So let's have a look at the highlights, because it was a very interesting session for a couple of guys. In fact, we saw Whincup with a big slide. We saw Fabian Coulthard with a big slide. Scotty McLaughlin did a good job. He's been a little bit worried about the front of the car. It's got too much understeer. You see Richard Holway there working very hard on getting that balance right. And as you said just before, when the temperature is like it is, the balance for big, long corners, really important. Marcus Ambrose did a great job. He ended up the fastest Falcon right up until the last bit where Mark Winterbottom did that great final lap. Fabian Coulthard was complaining about the oversteer. We were laughing, weren't we? Because he had his hands full. He looked like a speedway driver from Parramatta.
I'll tell you what, yesterday was the same deal. He's having a dip, you know. He's having a really good go. Shane, as normal, like he always has a big go. Look at that. I mean, but he loves it sideways. What a great spectacle. I love Shane.
Well, it's slow. It's slow.
It's slow.
Not fast.
But who cares? It looks damn good.
Exactly. And now he put fresh tyres on. He went off the road. He put fresh tyres on in the middle of the session. And I heard Neil Crompton say that time was probably indicative of what the conditions were like at the point where he put fresh green tyres on. He ended up way down the list because he ended up 17th in the end of that session, but it was a good lap at the time for that track condition. There's James Courtney talking to Adrian Burgess. He was also very, very fast. He was fastest for most of the session.
James has been very serious these last 2 days. I've noticed, you know, James, he's a bit of a comical sort of guy, jokes around. No joking around the last 2 days. He's been dead on the game, so I think he's ready for a big year.
Well, he ended up second, and the balance of that car looked very good. I was really surprised by it. There's a big moment there for Will Davison. They've been very competitive. Will Davison was fourth, and young Ash Walsh has done a great job. He ended up seventh. So both the Mercedes E63s look like they've made gains in the off-season. We made comment yesterday, and the speed for the Nissan, and again, really good outright speed for all those guys. Todd Kelly was fastest yesterday, Moffat off the road. They're all trying very hard.
Wasn't this a good story? It's so good to see Marcus back up the pointy end, you know. I think after the Sydney Homebush race there was a few doubts, but he's back on his game.
That was a little lounge turnaround. He had a big moment coming off turn one. He locked the rear brakes and ended up spearing off. That was basically coming for 300 metres. He was out of control for 300 metres. This was the big moment. We were on board for this moment, coming on out of the final corner, and Coulthard ended up turning around. That was a big slide.
You reckon he was happy on the radio?
He wasn't very happy at all.
No, he wasn't happy with his engineer. Give me some tyres.
And this was the final lap. So great job, Mark Winterbottom. Rihanna said man of the match with that final lap. Not really indicative. It was on soft tyres. So look out for this afternoon when they're all on the same tyre. The very animated Mark Winterbottom with all the gesturing of steering wheel conditions and what happens in terms of the oversteer at this place.
Absolutely. Frosty firing off there, wanting to put his name on top of the leaderboard for the testing session. He finishes in P1. James Courtney, as we mentioned, led for most of that session, putting down a fast time earlier on. Fabian Coulthard also there. Will Davison sitting in fourth place. Chaz Mostert in 11th. Dale Wood down in 16th. Shane Van Gisbergen finishing off that session in 17th position. Lowndesy down in 20th. Not often we see him there. Tim Slade in 21st. And Jamie Whincup down in 23rd, but we don't read too much into that, as they said. All right, it is hot, hot, hot here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Let's hand it over to Greg Murphy, who's trying to keep it cool.